This is a short video on how to change out a lawnmower blade that is a very common one to different manufacturers. This in fact is on a TroyBilt. It's a TroyBilt model TB110. Very common 550EX Briggs & Stratton engine. The reason I'm taking this blade off is I bought this mower used and I'm repairing it, and this blade has been put on upside down by someone, and so it needs to come off, and I'll either sharpen it and reinstall it or just swap it out and put another one on there that I've already sharpened. But the main thing is I want to show you how to get it off and show you why it's on upside down, and we'll figure that out together. So let's get started. I'm not going to talk a lot. I'm mostly just going to show you what you need to do. The first thing you got to do is block the blade from turning. I have this mower tilted back on a table. You can also tilt your mower to the side, but if you do, you have to make absolutely certain you've tilted it to the correct side, and that means the fuel tank and the carburetor side of this mower needs to be up and facing towards the sky. Then you're on the correct side, but even that is not ideal. If you can do it, put it on the ground or up on a table and tilt it back so that all the oil goes to the bottom of the crankcase. Because if you're moving the blade around and it's on its side, you can push that oil and fuel around to where places you don't want it to go. So let's start getting this blade off. The first thing I'm going to do is put a blade block up here on the side. Let me back this up a little bit. I'm going to put a blade block on this mower, but before I do that, I'm going to make sure the spark plug is removed. I'm also going to put a heavy toolbox on the handle. This mower is balanced right now. It's almost straight up, and the handle is sitting on a small table below this table. Let me get that toolbox on there, because I'll be putting some torque on here. I don't want the deck to come down on it. All right, so I've got a big heavy toolbox on there, and I'm going to reach up here and get the plug off and push it off to the side so it's nowhere close to the spark plug. And I'm going to get a blade block now. That's important, and what I recommend you use is a C-clamp with a wood block. I've made this device because I do this so much. I work on mowers all the time. It's a 2x4 and a little 1x piece that's attached, but you can just use a 2x4. And so I'm going to separate those two pieces of wood, and you want to put the C-clamp, since the blade's come off, on the top of your block of wood, because you want to take the wood and not the metal of the C-clamp. Get that on there. And this particular mower, like so many of them, has a shallow bolt screw, and so there's not a lot to grab onto. So you want to make sure that you've got a good block on here that's stable, and you want to get a 5/8 socket. This is a socket from an impact wrench. I'm not going to use an impact wrench because I don't want to take any chances at all on damaging that. I'm just going to get a large, what's called a breaker bar, And you can get these at Harbor Freight. It's a great big extended socket type wrench. And now this gives me a lot of leverage. Okay? This blade's now going to come around and it's going to touch the wooden block. I'm just going to do it with my hand. So it's really going to go this way. Good compression on this thing, that's for sure. Since I'm dealing with the blade, I'm going to go ahead and get some gloves on, or at least grab it with something like a towel or like that, and push this around. Yeah, that's just good compression is what that is. Okay, so it's in position now. It's up against the wood block. And here goes the breaker board. See, all this leverage really helps you. If you just have a little socket wrench, it might be hard to turn this, but with this, all this leverage, so you can get this off. And I've got it loose enough now where I can just turn this by hand this way and get it off pretty quickly. That's blade screws removed. Now this just pops off. Don't let it fall on you. And the edge of this blade, like oftentimes when somebody installs them wrong, upside down, they're cutting with the wrong edge, which is the blunt edge, the lift edge. That's the lift. See, that's the lift. Well, they had the lift flying around and cutting the grass instead of the sharp edge of the blade. So the correct way to do this is you want these ridges here down. Okay, people make that mistake because they think, oh, the ridges are here, that must be what helps hold this onto the adapter. That is incorrect. It goes this way, and you know you've done it right if the curved blunt edge is going up to the deck, because that's where you want the lift to be. It lifts the grass up and mulches it. And these blades turn this way, they spin this way, and if this was the discharge chute over here, it's not this, the mulching mower or a bagger. There's the bagger back there. It turns this way and throws it out that hole over there. So just look at where the grass would be discharging to the right. If you're looking down from the operator, it's discharging to the right, and you want the sharp cutting edge turning towards that opening. If you do it this way, the blunt edge is turning towards the opening. It's not going to cut well. Your mower's not going to work right. It's not going to mulch well. It's not going to cut well. So make sure that you've got these curved edges on the side here next to the hole. You want those down towards the ground. And you've got your cutting edge now throwing towards the opening, because it's going to turn this way. So I'm going to remove this now because it's in a slightly different position. And you see this debris, I need to get that off of there, because what this will do is, over time, is wear out your main seal. So let me get the, I'm going to just get some needle nose and start pulling this stuff off. You can also get a pocket knife and do this, but you got to be careful with the pocket knife because you don't want to cut that rubber seal that's up there. And that is what gets damaged by all this stuff that you leave on here. It creates friction and can wear a hole in that main seal. So A lot of this stuff wound around this crankshaft. So look under your mowers after every few sessions, especially if you run over some string or really thick grass. I see a lot of fishing line. There's a bug. What bug is that? At least it's not a spider. And you know, that twine that they put around pine straw bales to get a lot of that. So it's slowly coming off. And sometimes these blade adapters are loose, so sometimes they're rusted on really bad and they don't come off. I think this one might be loose. I'm just about to get all the string and fishing line or whatever all this stuff is, and all that to come off of there. That just makes your mower work harder and causes problems. Almost got it all off. Okay. You know, that blade adapter might come off, but I don't need it to come off. Okay, so just again, reviewing. Look at your blade and notice the angle and which one is the sharp edge. And notice that the curve, the lift, is going to go up towards the deck. Because you're going to get your grass and throw it up here in the top, and it's going to get cycled around and cut as it turns. Well, it needs the curve of that lift to throw it up there. Okay, so the correct way is like that, with these little bent sides here down towards the ground. Okay, so I got my cutting edge leading the way now when it comes around. And the blade is pretty sharp, so I think I'm just going to leave that on there. I don't need to sharpen it. I think it's going to be fine. If there's any vibration or anything like that, I'll take it back off and balance it. But just looking at it, it looks pretty great. So that's looking good. That's the way you want your cutting edge, going that way. And the lift portion is in the back, up top. So let's reinstall this. Put your wood block on there, get your C-clamp on there, tighten her up. Now bring this around so it's touching the wood, like that. You got this finger tight, and this is dead center, see, it's not off this way, the little washer thing here is just straight across, dead center. And now we can tighten this. I'm just going to do it by hand here, get a few turns on it before I really start to torque it. There we go. And now I'm going to put some leverage on it. Make sure it's on there good. See, that's loose. That's loose. It's getting tighter. A little tighter. A little tighter. Oh, yeah. That is tight. So now we're ready. So this comes off. And you have a blade installed now with the cutting edge leading towards where the opening would be, and the lift portion, this curved part up here, put on the grass to the top. Okay? And here's your compression if you want to see it. Right there. There's your compression. See, it's very tough to push. There we go. I don't recommend you do that at home, but I just wanted you to see that, because I think this mower is going to be fine. I think it's going to run fine. So it's got good compression. But we'll see. But that's how you change the blade out. Hope you enjoyed that.